Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone, and welcome back to another special episode. Last episode, we interviewed the highest achieving student of Year 12 in the Northern Territory, and this time we have yet another very special guest. He has been recognized in the King's Birthday 2023 honour list with the Medal of the Order of Australia for services to community health. He's a prominent member of the Darwin community, and he's none other than our very own Uncle Aminul Islam. Congratulations, Uncle Amin.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum to everyone.
Uncle Amin, I would just like to start off with introducing you professionally as well as in your community services as well. You are an accountant, a chartered accountant by profession.
That's right.
And you've been and the owner and operator of Merit Partners and Young prior to that.
That's right.
As well. And then in terms of your community services, there's a huge long list of boards that you've served on. First and foremost, you've served as the Vice President and the board member of Somerville Community Services. You've been on the board of Team Health, Menzies School of Health, Charles Darwin University, Top End Health Service, the Arthritis Foundation, and the Heart Foundation, and several others. And the funny thing is, in my career as a medical student and as a GP, I've had something or the other to do with all of these organizations. So that's really fascinating. So my first question to you then is, when you first heard that you're nominated, or when you first heard that you actually got the award, what was your reaction?
In a way, I was very surprised that, I been nominated to go into that position. So it was a big surprise. But I believe it's a huge honor, and I'm humbled by that award. I'm actually going to accept this award on behalf of my family, my community, and the disadvantaged people, because there are a lot of them, and that's my aim in working in the future.
So you mentioned the disadvantaged people on whose behalf you're accepting this award as well. So I'd like to know, was there any particular point in your life or any particular event that kind of prompted you to come forward and volunteer in this particular area, given that your professional life is in accounting, but your volunteering is in health?
There probably a particular time, I'm not quite sure what it is, but when I went to Hajj in 2006, I always thought, I should do something for the community. And one of the hadiths I remember very clearly is that those are the best people who can be benefit to others. So if I can be useful to others, then I'll be very happy. And that motto, it was in my mind when I retired from Ernst & Young in 2004. Then we formed the Merit Partners. That was to save about 60 jobs, and then became Merit Partner and retired in 2014. So people thought, once you retired, you go holidays, gardening, all this thing. But then all the people I worked with, they said, hey, don't sit at home, come and work for us in the board and so forth. So the invitation kept coming, and I started enjoying it actually. Initially started Team Health, because that's one of my, key area, mental health. And I think this is a huge area for me, because it's underdone budget-wise, knowledge-wise, and everything you ask for. 1 in 3 Australians suffer through mental health, one form or the other, and we still don't recognize it. And the biggest thing is the stigma. If you think mental health means you're gone or something, society still haven't accepted them. We need to change that thinking. That's what we are saying, that mental health is just like another disease. Could be diabetes, you could heart patient. It's a disease, you can cure it. Look at it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. No stigma. We need to promote that, and that's one of the things I'm promoting there. So I'm working very hard to work on that mental health area.
That's amazing, and thank you for sharing that with me. But that's another particular passion of mine as well. And I've worked in the Royal Darwin Hospital in the psychiatry ward, which kind of links and works very closely with team health as well. And one of the things that team health does definitely is promotion of mental health and removal of the stigma. So given that you've worked in this area, worked with disadvantaged people, what would you say then are some of your achievements in the area, in these volunteering areas that you've worked in?
One of the issues with the voluntary work, as you know, is a no-pay lab job. You know, there are a lot of different varieties and other things you have to do. You don't expect it. But I enjoy it because, you know, it keeps me busy.
Yeah.
The issue, if I can be any use to the community with my knowledge, you know, I can share some of my, you know, accounting knowledge and all this. That's what they need actually from me. Skill in the board, there's a shortage of people in that area. So if I can be helpful and I can help the community, so make people more aware of the mental health and promote the mental health area, that's the main goal I have.
Now, young people, well, once they look at the list, formal list, they might wonder how they can also be of use in the way that you have. What kind of advice would you give to them, or anyone else for that matter, who is looking for ways to contribute?
I think the sky is the limit. There's no limit. People can start young, old. I started old. You know, every type of people can, you know, have a plan in your life. If you have a goal, I will achieve it, you will achieve. I believe that you have to do a little bit of dreaming. You know, if you dream that I'll do this, you will achieve it. In Australia, I think we're very privileged that, you know, we are allowed to do all these things. So I think it's a privilege. I've been helped, my peers, colleagues, and friends, they all help me. And I'm still getting a lot of help from there. For young people, think about it. As I said, sky is the limit. Start working. If you follow a religion, charity or, you know, time in voluntary work is a kind of zakat. Zakat doesn't have to be just financial. It can be, you know, your kind of work. Part your knowledge, as in Quran says, you know, you need to part your knowledge to the others, which you can share with them. So there's a lot of young people, I'm sure they will come, inshallah, in the future. We'll see a lot of other members in the community getting the same award and even higher achievement.
I hope so too. You talked about young people starting to dream very early on, anyone for that matter dreaming, and that helps you to achieve things and plan things out in your life. How about yourself? When you started out, what was your dream that helped you achieve what you've achieved today?
My dream was, my father was a civil engineer and he wanted to follow his footsteps, engineering, but I didn't have my mind in engineering. So in those days, I wanted to do accountancy and chartered, especially in the UK. That was my dream and goal, which I had to argue with our family to move to England to do that. Eventually I did it. And when I succeeded, I felt, you know, this is one of the dreams that I'm achieved. And from there on, you know, my life was quite reasonably comfortable. I had good job throughout the career. I, you know, very successful in my field. So I felt that, you know, it's time to think about giving to others. You know, as I said, you are the best if you are benefit to the others. If I can help a little bit, small thing, that will help. Like, you know, when I talk about mental health, it doesn't cost you any money if you just give a smile.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you? You ask this question. Simple thing, doesn't cost you money, but if you do those little things, it makes a lot big difference.
That's very true. So given that, do you have an extensive experience in chartered accounting and mental health and community services and health as well? What lessons have you learned along the way?
The big lesson I have to trust people, work with people, don't take anything for granted.
Yeah.
Do your research, work hard, as I said, and be very friendly. People will help you if you do that. But if you try to be aggressive, it'll be a different answer. So always be friendly, be polite, as our religion said, be polite, especially to the senior people. That's how we do. You learn so much, so much thing. And I also believe the blessing from Allah comes, with that sort of, patience, sabr. We should be patient and do slowly one thing. You're not going to achieve everything overnight.
Yeah.
It took me a long, long time to get here.
Yeah.
So it will slowly come. And, I'm sure we've got a lot of people I can see. They've got a huge, bright future.
You mentioned as well that it was your family's backing and family support that got you to where you are today. You started off by acknowledging them. Tell us a little bit more about that.
When I was studying in London, I was a bachelor, single. I had a work and job and study at the same time. So doing it's not easy.
Yeah.
And then my father wanted me to get married, and I got married. I think that's one of the best things happened, because my wife actually could have done a lot of things, but she has sacrificed a lot of things for me. And my family, the kids are brilliant. They just always support me. So I believe my wife is the backbone, if I can say. I call her, if you want to fly higher and higher, she's the wind beyond my wing. She makes me fly.
Thank you so much. That's beautiful to hear. And you need the entire support of your family. You need the support of your community in order to achieve where you are. So oftentimes people talk about being self-made or doing everything on their own, but your story and what you've highlighted to us is, of course, you need everyone along with you on the journey in order to make dreams happen. That's what I get it.
Absolutely. Should never be a solo, flyer. You need to get the whole team, especially, family is there, but the people are disadvantaged. People who can't do anything. When you talk about disability, the certain people can't take a small step, they can't walk. It's just fair. If you can help them to take that step, they can't eat. If you can help them to eat, they can't sleep. Help them to sleep. So little step, if you can do, that will be a big achievement.
MashaAllah. So Jazakallah khair, Uncle Amin, for joining us today and giving us the honor of interviewing you and learning a little bit about you, your achievements, your life journey. I think it's always wonderful to know our elders' stories, and oftentimes they are missed and glossed over. But there's so much richness in the story that you shared with us, and I'm sure lessons that I can take, and as well as the viewers. So thank you for joining us today. And inshallah, we'll continue to have conversations like this, and we'll hope to see other members of a community joining the honors list as well in the future.